Age of Ultron is heavily underrated.
How dare you?
Smooth move.
So last time I asked you guys what were some overrated MCU movies, but on today's filler episode, we're gonna flip it, and we're gonna talk about the underrated MCU movies. So I put out a post and I asked you guys what were some MCU movies that you would consider underrated. I gave you my pick, which was The Incredible Hulk, and many of you agreed with it. I made a video about The Incredible Hulk a while ago, so check it out if you want to see my full thoughts on it. But here's the short version. The main thing I like is that the Hulk is not only shown to be an actual threat, but also a burden on Banner's life. It shows his struggles of living with the Hulk and how hard it is. That aspect alone makes this movie a very interesting watch, and you really feel for Banner as he searches for a cure. So yeah, The Incredible Hulk is good, and I think it's one of the MCU's most underrated movies. Now let's take a look at the ones you guys picked out.
So you can wash your filthy pussies.
So the one I saw the most was Iron Man 3. I guess in hindsight, it's not that bad of a movie. It's better than the second one, but not as good as the first. But when it comes to this movie, the thing that people don't like the most is the twist with the Mandarin. It was kinda dumb and it wasted the character. But ever since Shang-Chi was announced, I've been seeing more and more people go back and praise Iron Man 3, because we actually got the real Mandarin in Shang-Chi. And if you have seen the movie, they do reference Iron Man 3's Mandarin. And then a certain character makes an appearance that I'm not gonna spoil, but you're either gonna love it or hate it is all I'm gonna tell you. So there are more people now going back and enjoying Iron Man 3 because we got the actual Mandarin. But even before that, if you look past the Mandarin twist, I do think it's an okay movie. It was cool that for a portion of the movie, Tony didn't have access to all his suits and his technology, and so you had to get innovative and creative. But the praise for this movie I've been seeing has been more recent ever since Shang-Chi was announced, because it retconned the one biggest thing people didn't like about it, which I guess in turn makes it more enjoyable to watch now.
Wash off your filthy pussies.
Another common one I saw was the first Thor movie. Now, I'm personally not the biggest fan of this one. I find it mostly boring, and I think the best thing about this movie is Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Although it is a pretty solid origin movie, albeit a bit safe, and Thor does go through a good character arc. I guess it was just frustrating not seeing much of Asgard in the movie, and there wasn't really that much action. I wanted to see Thor be the god of thunder. Although I did enjoy the first part all the way up until he lost his powers. Then from there it got kinda boring. I don't think it's terrible, I just think it's a pretty safe movie, with a few bright spots.
You guys all look like you have AIDS.
And then we got Captain America: The First Avenger. I feel like people often forget about this movie just because The Winter Soldier was really good. I think this movie does a pretty good job introducing you to Steve Rogers and really showing you what kind of character and person he is. And I thought Red Skull was okay, one of the better Phase 1 villains. Although I will say this movie has my favorite Captain America outfit. That suit looks badass.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go.
Go blow each other.
And then there's people saying that they think Age of Ultron is underrated. But if you know me, and if you see my video on Age of Ultron, then you know that I respectfully disagree. But when looking online, there are actually a lot of people who really like this movie. And I can understand that a little bit. But for me personally, I really don't care for it.
Everyone is dumb except me.
Now these next couple are more unique picks. I saw a few people say Spider-Man Homecoming, which I don't think that movie is underrated at all. It's still well liked and talked about to this day, really. I've even seen people say that it's one of their favorite Spider-Man movies. And then I saw Iron Man 2. And personally I don't really like this one. I don't find the story as interesting, and for some reason a bunch of the characters just became annoying. And honestly it kind of feels like it's mimicking the first one, but is doing a very poor job at it. Then we got Ant-Man, which I think was a pretty decent movie, but I feel like it could have been a lot better if Edgar Wright was able to make his movie without Marvel's interference. Edgar Wright was on as one of the writers, but he was originally going to direct it as well, but due to Marvel's restrictions and restraints, he stepped away from the project and just stayed on as a writer, and really wasn't that much involved in the project outside of that. I think the way he put it was this: he was interested in making a Marvel movie, but Marvel wasn't interested in making an Edgar Wright movie, which is a damn shame, because even in 2015, Edgar Wright proved himself to be a very talented and unique filmmaker. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The guy's a good director and a great writer, and I think we missed out what probably could have been the most unique MCU movie. Oh, while we're talking about Ant-Man, I also saw some people say Ant-Man and the Wasp, which kind of surprised me because this movie often gets forgotten about. And even though the first Ant-Man movie was pretty decent, this one I found really bland and boring. And unlike movies like Age of Ultron, I personally haven't seen a dedicated fan base for this film. Also, it sucks to see Walton Goggins in this movie. Dude's a great actor. He's mainly done TV shows, like he was on The Shield and Justified, which are great shows and he's great in them. And also, you should see him cross-dress. Oh man. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, definitely a unique choice. And one that kept popping up that I always forget about is Doctor Strange. I think the most interesting thing about Doctor Strange is the use of magic and how it bends reality. So visually it is really cool to watch, but when it comes to stuff like the story and the antagonist, I think it's just very bland and run-of-the-mill. And I thought the ending was pretty anticlimactic. I mean, the quote-unquote final battle was different, sure, but I don't think it was that entertaining. And really that's how I feel about most of that movie. Some really entertaining stuff, but overall just a pretty bland experience.
I didn't think so. I guessed you just like cock.
So those are the ones I saw the most when it came to underrated MCU movies. So why don't you go ahead, leave a comment, let me know what do you think is the most underrated MCU movie. My pick is still The Incredible Hulk. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Oh, would you look at that? Someone put Black Widow.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
2 to the 1, 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees.
absorbing lightning's totally my thing.
You've never had black lightning before.